Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 649.
Now you know. So Tesla's just released FSD 14.3.5 yesterday. So far, I've only seen a few posts and videos about it, but they all say that it has improved a bit over the 3.4 release.
3.5 includes improvements like upgraded reinforcement learning, better vision encoding, faster reaction times, enhanced parking, and new features such as in-app FSD visualization and camera previews while driving.
And we're going to talk about more of this on Patreon bonus stories, especially about the parking bit. But some people have said that the twitching that occurs in 3.4 especially, that's generally when you have like a wider gap between the straight lane and the turn lane. And I guess the car was getting like confused. That seems to be reduced in 3.5.
I can't wait to get it in our Model Y and Cybertruck so we can test it out for you.
Yeah, when we get it, should we do another video?
I don't know. You guys tell us down in the comments below. Thanks to DeleteMe for sponsoring this episode.
So if annoying texts and random calls are a problem for you, give DeleteMe a try.
Scam texts jumped 50% in the past year, according to Consumer Reports.
Yeah, you've noticed that. Scammers rely heavily on data brokers and people search sites to buy fresh lists of phone numbers tied to names, addresses, and other details.
This makes attacks more targeted and effective.
DeleteMe is a hands-free subscription service that scans and removes your personal information from hundreds of people's search sites and data brokers.
This directly impacts spam and scam calls because fewer brokers having your phone number means fewer lists are sold to scammers and telemarketers.
I signed up for DeleteMe a couple of years ago to protect my privacy online, and I'm really happy I did because the other day you got a scam call like 4 times in a row from the same scammer with like
hello, this is Discovered Security. I don't think you are. Why don't you send me an email? Oh no, we have to deal with it right now. Really?
DeleteMe can help keep your phone number out of the hands of spammers by removing it from data brokers who sell it.
DeleteMe continuously removes your data using their own tech and doesn't outsource to third parties, so your data stays safe.
DeleteMe privacy advisors are real people available for custom requests and help when you need it.
DeleteMe verifies your data is on data broker sites before submitting removal requests.
So go to DeleteMe to reduce your online exposure. Get 20% off customer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/NYK20. Use our promo code NYK20 at checkout or use the QR code on screen.
That's joindeleteme.com/NYK20. The code is NYK20.
Thanks to DeleteMe for sponsoring this episode. So Lexus, which is owned by Toyota, says that they will be reviving their LFA Supercar, which is an all-electric version now, as a limited production halo car targeting next year. The original nameplate was the 2012 V10-powered original, which was limited to 500 units.
Lexus unveiled the LFA concept in December 2025 and ran a functional prototype at the 2026 Goodwood Festival of Speed.
The LFA was developed alongside Toyota's V8-powered GR-GT and the GR-GT3, sharing an aluminum architecture but swapping the combustion engine for an EV powertrain.
Yeah, Lexus is emphasizing that the LFA will recreate an engaging, alive driving feel to appeal to EV skeptics and fans of the original screaming V10. This includes engineered vibrations, sensory feedback, and simulated engine sounds, rather than just silent instant torque.
Engineered vibrations? I thought engineers are supposed to engineer vibrations out of the car.
But it needs to feel like it's alive.
So they put like on your phone, they have like vibrators in the car that shake it?
I don't know if they just made the car so that way when you start driving, it's just like...
Give me some more phones. We have to put more phones in here.
I have no idea.
How much is this going to cost?
Pricing is expected around $500,000 if it reaches limited production. No other specs available yet.
Oh, so we don't even know how fast it goes or anything.
I'm sure it'll be fast.
I mean, the original only went 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, so that's not that fast.
Whatever.
So it's always fun to read through Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, architectural barriers, project details, permit filings, to see what you can find.
Yes.
What did you find?
Let's take a look here. Restroom edition. Tesla filed for a restroom edition. Why is this newsworthy?
It isn't, but maybe if you kept reading.
Equipment inspection system, supercharger cabinet and chargers, and cleaning robots. Cleaning robots?
There you go.
So This is a cleaning robot at the Superchargers at 2201 East Ben White Boulevard.
Actually, the permit is referring to a location about 2 miles east, 5900 East Ben White Boulevard in Austin, Texas, right there. This looks like a specialized support or equipment facility rather than a public supercharger site. It involves installing supercharger cabinets and chargers, plus an equipment inspection system and a cleaning robot, possibly for testing, maintaining, or servicing supercharger hardware, or a small private, semi-private charging inspection bay. Basically, I think this is Robotaxi cleaning, like charging and cleaning.
So, Austin viewers / detectives, go check it out and report back with a video contributor story, please. I know that they haven't started building it yet, but the good news is they're going to have to take the cleaning robot, put it in a box, ship it to that location, and there's going to be a box sitting there.
It might already be there.
There might be a cleaning robot box sitting out there right now.
Don't break any laws. Just
film it.
All right, it's time for some SpaceX news. Yesterday, the FAA officially closed its investigation from May of 2026 into Flight 12's Super Heavy booster failure to return to the pad. Because you may not remember, but the booster was supposed to return and get caught, and it didn't.
The root causes were determined to be heat effects on the propulsion components during ascent and erroneous engine alarm settings.
So because that investigation is over, that does give the green light for Flight 13. And on this upcoming Starship Flight 13 mission, which hopefully will happen this Thursday, for the first time, Starship will carry 20 of the new next-generation Starlink V3 satellites, which are designed to massively boost network capacity and user speeds.
After deployment, the satellites will extend their solar arrays and antennas, attempt to connect with ground stations in South Africa, and link with the broader constellation using high-capacity lasers.
All while following a suborbital path. Wait a minute, suborbital?
That means that they will re-enter and burn up in the atmosphere.
Wait, I thought they're putting these in space to give us better phone connectivity.
Well, they're testing out Starship being able to carry and deploy real satellites. We've seen the fake satellites that they shoot out. This time, these will be actual functional satellites.
For only a few minutes?
For like a few minutes. So if you are underneath that path, you might be able to connect to it. But that'll be the last time anyone connects to it.
The coolest part is that 6 of those satellites have been specially modified with cameras to inspect Starship's heat shield in real time, with some tiles painted white like last time to simulate missing ones, which will help SpaceX test readiness for future return to launch site landings.
Starship launches Starlink, and Starlink helps inspect Starship. So
that's really cool.
Kind of a neat thing.
And we reported a couple days ago how China landed their first orbital booster at sea.
And from a distance, it looked pretty good. But as we've been reviewing more footage of the landing, well, it doesn't look as impressive.
Nick Cruz-Patain says how SpaceX landed their booster at sea for the first time, so that's on the left, and then how China landed theirs for the first time, that's on the right. There's a 10-year difference between these two landings. And then Nick Cooper said, legs. They need legs.
Leg! You're looking for a leg! Actually, I think there is one in there somewhere.
Yeah, so I mean, from a distance it looked great, but it was just kind of like a catch. Like There's a lot of wires there, and then it just dropped at the end.
Right. You have to keep in mind that
it was like a big catcher's mitt.
You have to keep in mind that the whole point of catching the rocket is not to catch the rocket. And you might be like, what do you mean? I thought that was the most important thing. The most important thing is to reuse the rocket.
Yes, exactly.
You need to launch it again. And catching it is one of the first steps you have to do. But you have to really work on the reusability part. It's not just like, I caught it, now I get to use it again. It's not a plane, okay? Planes work because you land them nice and softly, and then hopefully it gets to take off again. A rocket is a lot more complicated than that.
All right, it's time for the Patreon bonus stories. On Patreon today, don't forget to enter for your chances to win great prizes.
That's right, there's 3 this month.
Exactly.
We've got Patreon bonus stories just for our lovely patrons.
So we'll see you wonderful patrons on Patreon today. All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. Time for the shout-outs. Who do we have today?
Bob Kapchef,
Don DeYoung,
Joseph Rogers,
Nate Peash,
and Vic Lugo. Thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do this show without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's X's of the week. Briviel says, if A, wealth follows the captured energy, and if B, SpaceX alone opens a reservoir of 1 billion times greater, then the conclusion falls of its own accord. Comparing SpaceX to terrestrial wealth is a category error. The Earth ceases to be the denominator.
Elon said, if solar power in space is harnessed for useful work at scale, the value of that will far exceed the Earth economy because all of Earth civilization uses much less than 1/trillionth of the sun's power.
Then we go on from there, because this conversation's been happening warming for a few days. Beth then said, yes, GDP is about equal to energy. The Dyson Swarm company will be the most valuable.
And Elon said necessarily so, as power harnessed would be more than 1 trillion times what human civilization uses today. The economy will be measured in energy and mass at that point, not dollars. And he went on to say, I say both energy and mass, as they are separate scarcities for practical purposes, despite being technically equivalent as described by Einstein's famous equation. Our solar system has only a tiny percentage of non-solar atoms with which to build things. So you can't build things with energy, at least until we figure out how to turn energy into matter, which I don't think we know how to do at scale, at the very least. Yes.
Some more benchmarks of Grok 4.5, and Elon said,
Grok seems to be accelerating the fastest, at least for now.
Arthur McWaters pointed out that Elon buying Twitter and restoring free speech was unironically one of the most pivotal moments in the 21st century. Its effects will be studied for generations, and we're looking at a chart of DEI, and you can see that right when he bought Twitter, DEI then fell again. Elon said,
the woke mob had turned Twitter into worm tongue to the world.
Keep your forked tongue behind your teeth.
All right, it is time for community mail time.
Community mail time.
So remember, send in your pictures, videos, TeslaGuessrs to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. What do we got today?
Let's start with this one.
Okay.
Ron sent in this Speed Racer Model 3.
Okay. Well, there's no front plate, so that's going to make it hard.
It's pretty tough.
Stop crying. It won't do any good. And anyway, you have a lot of work to do.
You might expect a Speed Racer to be like Japan. It doesn't look like Japan, though, right? Should we let's do the answers
At the end?
You want to do it at the end, or do you want to do it now?
Oh, let's do them now.
Okay.
I'm going to say Texas.
Okay. I forget where this was. So
Okay.
it looks too hilly for Texas. I'm going to say
That's a good point.
Washington State.
Utah. Oh, I said it
You
right
did
before.
You did it. Nice. Beaver, Utah.
Yeah, it was the hills.
Michael spotted this, a VinFast and a Cybertruck. Now, the best clue is back on that VinFast picture, the dude with his shirt off. That's going to be your best clue.
Okay, so it's hot.
Yes.
Georgia.
I remember this one. Tampa Bay, Florida.
I wasn't far off.
No. Seb spotted a Model 3 and a Model Y.
That's cool. Okay,
Yeah.
license plate to the rescue here. Europe. Spain?
Hong Kong.
So close.
I just saw the shape. It's totally right. Yeah.
David spotted a Zeekr Waymo. Now, this was before the 4th of July, so there is a chance that that Waymo has caught on fire since he's taken this picture,
Okay.
which is a big clue.
Okay, so, yeah. Where did they catch on fire? San Francisco?
Daly City, San Francisco. Nice. Justin spotted this Police i3. Now, this one might be the easiest of the entire...
Is that the Vatican?
That is the Vatican, yes. So the smallest country in the world
Is the easiest to
is
pick.
the easiest to pick. Go figure.
And they have I3s because they only have like 1 mile to cover.
Perfect. Ivan sent this one in, and once you guess, I can tell you all about it.
You know what? I'm getting pretty good at this. It feels like it's in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm going to guess Australia.
It's Scotland.
I get Scotland and Australia screwed up.
It's fair.
every time.
To be fair, like it's
Definitely in the Southern Hemisphere.
they're the yin and yang of pretty grass-covered rolling hills. Absolutely. So Ivan said he just completed his NC 500 trip around the top of Scotland. He did a total of 1,690 miles. No problems or issues other than a lack of superchargers. 50 kilowatts seems to be the most common rapid charger up there.
Tesla, let's get going on Scotland.
I know, top of Scotland. And this picture was taken on the Tongue Causeway. Brian spotted this cybercab.
Texas.
Correct. This is.
I think we've been there.
That's at the Bartley's Barbecue in Grapevine, Texas.
Oh, I guess we haven't been there, but
to that,
it just looks like
specific
Texas.
supercharger
Or
at
in
a
Scotland. I don't know.
barbecue. Alex spotted a cybercab.
The trees.
Ooh,
I don't know. I'm going to go Texas, but it could be anywhere.
okay.
Dallas.
Dallas. There you go. Rob spotted these.
Oh,
Does this one look like Texas?
it does.
Does it?
I don't know.
Look at the grass on that first one.
Grass. Is it not Texas grass?
I mean, it could be Texas grass, but I'm going to tell you that it's not Texas grass.
Okay.
How about that?
That's helpful. Not Texas grass. Where else are they? It's not Miami. Illinois?
It's in Concord, California. Or
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Californians say Concord, California.
They don't say Concord.
We
do
say
they?
Concord here, which is weird
It must be
because
Concord.
you know the Battle of Lexington and Concord. I believe during the American Revolution that they did say Concord,
Really?
which is really annoying because we say Concord here in Massachusetts now.
Interesting.
A fun history lesson / geography lesson spanning centuries and thousands of miles.
More cybercabs.
More cybercabs. This one, tough.
That
Tough,
looks like
tough,
California.
Tricky. Tough, tricky. Colorado Springs.
Ah, yes.
Because of all the mountains.
Yes.
I mean, there's mountains in California. And then lastly, I think you're going to get this one, but I don't think anybody else will.
What?
Our editor Coleman spotted this one.
Well, he lives in Ghana.
And that's a Cybertruck.
He saw a Cybertruck in Ghana, Africa?
Yep, that's in Accra, Ghana.
Wow. Thanks, Coman.
Thank you for sending
That's
that in,
awesome.
Coleman. Isn't that fun?
I didn't think they'd be that far away. That's great.
All right, well, how did you guys do? Let us know down in the comments below. If you like TeslaGuessr, you can send in your own. We just need some kind of an electric car or some kind of funky electrical doodad.
Yeah.
And preferably a background that is guessable.
Yes.
The Vatican one was perfect.
Some more from Scotland.
I do realize that not every country is as easy to guess as Vatican City.
Well, let's go to new Superchargers. What do we got this week?
Number 325 in Germany is the 8 stall in Hohenworsleben, Germany.
An expansion from 16 to 24 stalls in Lille, Portugal.
Number 33 in Oklahoma, the 4 stall operated by Francis Energy in Chickasha, Oklahoma.
Number 157 in Australia, the 12 stall in South Nora, New South Wales, Australia.
An expansion from 3 to 6 stalls, version 3s and 4s, in Honningsvåg, Norway.
Number 247 in Florida, the 12 stall in North Miami.
Number 17 in Idaho is the 8 stall, version 4, in Kellogg, Idaho.
Number 36 in Missouri, 4 stall version 4 installed by Little General in Columbia, Missouri.
An expansion from 4 to 16 stalls, version 2s and 4s, in Radom, Poland.
Expansion from 3 to 6 stalls in Varagabotten, Norway.
Number 673 in California is the 16 stall version 4 in Temecula, California.
Number 3 in Estonia, the 11 stall in Tartu.
Number 16 in Croatia is the 8 stall in Zadar.
Number 65 in Colorado, the 4 stall, which is installed by Hyon in Greenwood Village.
Number 150 in Japan is the 4 stall in Kawasaki, Japan.
The expansion from 8 to 12 stalls in Mitzpe Ramon, Israel.
And number 223 in the UK, number 1,744 in Europe, and 8,803 in the world is the 8 stall version 4. It's an EV on the move in Steps, UK.
Woo! It's awesome. Hey, look, I just want to say it's an honor that you invite us into your life for a few minutes each week.
Thank you for watching, liking, hitting the subscribe button, and for all of the thousands of you who are going to keep financially and spiritually supporting us over on Patreon.
So we've got Patreon bonus stories waiting for you over on Patreon, and prizes await as well. We'll see you there.
Now you know.